Hello queens, I'm back at y'all with another client tutorial, and today I'm going to be showing y'all how I created this glitter fall beat, and we're jumping straight into this video. I'm starting it off by cleaning my model's face. Now I'm going to go in and do her eyebrows, and for this video I'm going to be showing y'all how I got her eyebrows to match her hair. So I'm starting off with my LA Colors dark brown eyebrow pencil, and I'm using this to outline her brows, nothing more or nothing less. I'm just using this to create a map so I can know where to shade in the eyebrows. You can really use any shade pencil for this step, but I just like to use brown whenever I'm doing like red or burgundy eyebrows, just because it fades into the color better. To actually fill in her eyebrows, I'm going to be using my Lick and Lash Spice palette. You can find this brand on Instagram, and I'm going in with the shades Rocky and Garnet. Rocky is like a plum color, and I'm using this to fill in the back of her eyebrows, and I'm going to work this up about 3/4 of the way. Make sure you always brush through the brows as you go. Just because we're doing colored eyebrows does not mean we don't want them to be blended. Now I'm taking the shade Garnet, and I'm using it to fill in the remainder of the way. I'm making sure I add a little bit of it on top of the previous shade that we used, just so everything could blend nicely. And last but not least, I'm going to go over it with the spoolie side again, and then I'm just going to continue to do the other side. To clean up her eyebrows, I'm going to be going in with my LA Girl Pro Concealer along with my e.l.f. Concealer. I forgot to include the shade names in the video, so they will be in the description box down below. But first, I'm going in with the e.l.f. Concealer because it's lighter, and I'm using this to clean up underneath her arch. I'm going to be taking this concealer about halfway underneath her eyebrows, and then for the remainder of the way, I'm just going to be going in with the LA Girl Pro Concealer. I really took my time when cleaning up her eyebrows. I just feel like when you're doing eyebrows period, you want them to look as crisp as possible, but especially when you're doing colored eyebrows, because since they aren't the normal color, I feel like every detail will stand out more, and you'll catch every flaw that you probably wouldn't catch if you did a natural color. So I just like to take my time and make sure that I get them as crisp as possible. Now I'm going in with this dense eyeshadow brush, and I'm using it to blend those two concealers out. Once they're all blended together, I'm just going to begin to clean up the top of her eyebrows, and I'll be using that same LA Girl Pro Concealer. I'm going in with that dense eyeshadow brush again, and I'm using it to buff out the concealer on the top of her brows. Once the top is all buffed out, I'm going to make sure I take whatever excess concealer is left on the brush, and I'm going to work it in between the front of her eyebrows as well, just to have the nice little faded ombre look at the front. As y'all can see, we have one nice clean eyebrow, so I'm just gonna go ahead and clean up the other side, and I'm gonna shut up and let y'all watch. Now that both of her brows have been cleaned up, I'm going in with my Dermablend translucent powder, and I'm going to be pressing this at the front of her brows to lighten them up. And y'all can't even lie, I killed these eyebrows, okay? Like, her eyebrows looking real good, and they matching her hair perfectly, if I do say so myself. So yeah, get into it. Y'all see it, get into it. Time to move on to the eyes. So for an eyeshadow base, I'm going in with my Bperfect eyeshadow primer. I went ahead and applied this all over her lids, and now I'm going in with that dense eyeshadow brush, and I'm using it to buff out this base. First palette I will be using is my Saharan II palette from Juvias Place, and I'm going in with the shade Taza, and I'm using it as a transition. So I just took this on I believe this is a E27 blending brush from Morphe, and I'm pressing this on the outer edge of her eye, and look how pretty this color is, y'all. Like, I could do a look off this color alone because it's that pretty, okay, period. But I'm packing this on the outer edge of her eye. Then I'm going to begin to bring it in a little towards the front of her eyebrows, but not all the way at the front. And now I'm going in with my Technic The Heat Is On palette, and I'm taking that dark brown shade and I'm applying it directly in her crease, and I'm going in with the same brush that I used to apply the first shade. Now I'm going to be taking my e.l.f. Camo Concealer in the shade Fair Rose, and I'm going to be using this on her lids. So first I'm going to tap a little bit of this towards the inner corners of her eyes, and I'm just going to blend it out using a dense eyeshadow brush. I'll use this brush about 5 times in this video, but this is a no-cut crease look, so it doesn't have to be neat at all. Everything just has to be blended as seamless as possible. But I'm starting in the inner corners, and then I'm going to drag that concealer out to the edge of her eye to get like this nice little oval shape. I'm going back in with the shade Taza from the Juvias Place palette, and I'm just applying this to the edge of her no-cut crease just to blend it out a little more. Now I'm going back in with that dark brown shade right behind it. And once again, I'm going in with the shade Taza to just add a little bit more color to this look. Y'all, you want everything to be blended, okay? The focus point of this look is blend. So if you have to keep going back in with the same colors that you've been using, then by all means, honey, keep going back in, because we just need everything to blend as seamless, well, not as seamless, but as flawless as possible. I decided to take a small amount of the shade Garnet and just apply it between the dark brown shade and Taza so they can have a nice little median. Notice how I said a small amount, because this shade is very pigmented and I didn't really want it to be too red. I just wanted a small hint of it. And now I'm going back in with the shade Taza, and I'm applying a little bit more of it at the front. I'm taking a matte white eyeshadow, and I'm using this to set the inner corners of her eyes, and I'm also tapping it on the rest of her eyeshadow just so it could all blend together. And once that's finished, we're going to be going in with glitter. So the glitter glue that I'm taking, I bought in a pack of glitter from the dollar store. I told y'all this in an older video. Unfortunately, I think this has been discontinued, so I do not think that y'all will be able to find it, but this is my favorite glue to use. Now I'm going in in with these 3 different shades. 2 of them are glitters and 1 of them is a pigment. First, I'm going in with the Is Me glitter and the pigment, and I mixed those 2 together and applied them to the inner corners of her eye, and I brought them about halfway out. Once I'm finished tapping them on, I'm taking that copper gold chunky glitter and I'm going to be applying it at the end of her eyeshadow. All the shade names for the glitters and the pigments will be in the description box down below for anybody that's interested. But as you can see, I'm taking that chunky copper glitter and I'm applying it everywhere that we applied the red and the orange eyeshadow. Now I'm going in with my Wet n Wild black liquid liner and I'm going to use this to line her eyes. I wanted her lids and the glitter to be the main focus point, so I decided not to do a wing. I'm just doing a regular line, and once I have it drawn on, I'm going to blend the end of it into the eyeshadow. I'm taking a black eyeshadow from my Technic palette and I'm using it to fade out the end of my liner. Moving on to the face, I went ahead and cleaned and moisturized her face off camera. Now I'm going in with my calamine lotion and I'm using this to prime her skin. You can also use this as like a corrector if you want to, so if you see any type of blemish that you feel like you need to cover, you can just apply it right on top of it and it'll help a little bit when putting on the foundation. A lot of y'all have been asking questions about my calamine lotion. I purchased mine from Walgreens. It is the Walgreens brand and it should be about $8 a bottle. You can use this or you can use Milk of Magnesia. I feel like calamine lotion would be better to use because it's actually formulated for your skin. Milk of Magnesia is not, but now I'm going in with my Real Technique sponge, and yes, it is damp, and I'm using it to press this product into her skin. And then we're going to be going in with foundation. So for foundation, I'm using my Fit Me foundation. The shade name will be in the description box, but I'm just applying this on her face using a flat brush, and I only went in with 1 shade because it's like her perfect shade. And then I'm gonna go in and blend this out using my dense foundation brush. Highlight her face, I'm taking my e.l.f. concealer in the shade Medium Peach. I know it's pretty light, but I mixed it with a little bit of her foundation, not too much, because as y'all can see, it's still very light, but I wanted her face to be very highlighted. I don't know why I wanted to go for such a dramatic highlight for this look, but it's what I decided to do at the time and it came out pretty. So yeah, I'm just gonna let y'all watch. To blend out her concealer, I'm going to be using the same brush that I used to blend out her foundation, and I'm just lightly tapping everything in place. I'm going to be alternating between the brush and my Real Technic sponge just to further blend everything out and to remove any excess concealer. I'm gonna go ahead and contour slash bronze up her face using my Juvias Place foundation stick, and to blend it out I'm using the same exact brush that I used to blend out her foundation and her concealer, and I'm just tapping everything in. Now I'm taking that same contour stick on this eyeshadow brush and I'm using it to sculpt out her nose. Now that I've contoured all around her face, I'm going to continue to blend out the concealer under her eyes, and to do so I'm using a damp Real Technique sponge. To set the concealer, I'm going in with my Fit Me pressed powder, and it's in the shade Sun Beige. I'm going on top of that Fit Me pressed powder with my Morphe loose powder, and it's in the shade Banana. Now I'm taking my black Radiance pressed powder in the shade Black Coffee, and I'm using this to set her contour. Set the remaining areas of her face. I'm going in with my Fit Me pressed powder, and it's in the shade Mocha. Now I'm taking the shade Taza from the Saharan II palette, and I'm using it as a blush. Time to do these under eyes, so I'm taking some black gel liner on a Q-tip, and I'm using this to line her waterline, and I only took it halfway. I'm taking a warm brown shade from my Technic palette, and I'm running this across her lower lash line. For lashes, I decided to go in with this style. They're very thick. I ordered them from Amazon, and I cut them to fit her eyes off camera, so now I'm just gluing them to her lash line. I have them glued on. I'm gonna have her open her eyes so I can see what they're looking like, and they look good if you ask me. Now I'm going in with that foundation brush, and I'm using it to press in any powder that I have resting on her face. Now it's time to set this face in place, so I'm spraying it with some setting spray, and I like to kind of drown the face, okay? I want them to feel baptized, and now I'm just fanning over the spray so it could dry quicker, and then I'm going to proceed to highlighting her face. So to highlight, I'm just taking a champagne colored eyeshadow. This one came from my Technic palette, and I'm applying it to the high points of her face along to the tip and the bridge of the nose. So my camera shut off while I was doing her lips. I got this little clip in, but I didn't get me lining the lips or filling them in. This is just me blending it out. So I'm sorry about that, y'all, but at least I caught it before I gave her the grand reveal. But yeah, as y'all can see, I'm just blending the liquid lipstick into the liner. Then I'm gonna go in and reapply the liner to her lips. And this lip liner is from JCats, and it's just a dark brown lip liner. And now I'm going on top of this combination with a clear lip gloss, and once I have that finished, we'll be getting into the grand reveal. So I'm just gonna let y'all watch. Are you ready to see?
Oh, cause girl, you know you did. Oh, this is so pretty. Oh,
not the eyebrows matching the hair.
I was finna say, look how it fades. That's crazy. I don't even look like myself. That is pretty. You know you go this, okay?
Okay, queens, as you can tell by her reaction, this video was another success. I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial and how I got this beautiful makeup look on my naturally beautiful client. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you would like to see more client content, feel free to visit my Instagram. A link will be in the description box down below. Make sure you follow me while you're there. Bye bye, queens.